a huge, huge opportunity that lies ahead of us. And we don't need to be geniuses like Larry Page or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, right? So there is an opportunity for each one of us to be what is called as a terminology which I call it as adaptive entrepreneurs, right? Or adaptive innovators, right? So each one of us can see this phase of this growth that is happening and become a part of this becoming an adaptive entrepreneur. Next one, right? So in terms of the app usage, so May 13th, right? As I mentioned, 2013, 2014, right, is the key landmark in terms of the mobile internet revolution. 65 billion downloads happened by May 2013, right? So the app usage is increasing every single day, right? And it's not about the app usage, right? The game is actually about the ecosystem sizes, right? So why these service providers have become extremely critical and important is because they control the ecosystem side. So there is the iOS ecosystem, there is the Android ecosystem, there is the Facebook ecosystem, there is an Amazon ecosystem, right? And these are the four big companies that exist today. But besides them building this ecosystem, it gives us huge opportunities for each one of us, you and me, right, to become a part of this ecosystem and create new opportunities and new business models, right? So ecosystem is the key leverage point, right? And it gives an opportunity for each one of us because all of us today exist in this app-centric world. So apps are here to stay, right? And what do all these apps have in common, right? So in terms of telephony, so just to give you a few examples, Skype, Viber, TalkBox, Tango, right, messaging, WhatsApp, right? Each one of us is now become a part of these applications, right? So what is the key thing which makes these apps in common, right? It's about mobile and customer first, right? So what these apps, the ones which have been extremely successful, is they've got it right? So it's about serving you on your mobile device because it's your personal device, and at the same time, right, they're basically taking care of your needs as a customer, right? So if you look at in 5 years' time, right, from the time when iPhone was launched in 2007 to 2012, 13, right, so the mobile internet users have now become more than the desktop internet user, right? So it's an important point to be remembered. The second one is about the media, right? So in terms of the media, if you look at it, or whether it's TV, whether it's online, radio, print, every media is declining, right? The only media that is growing, right, is mobile. And that's why it's important, each one of us, as an SME company, as an entrepreneur, as a business, right, to basically be part of this new wave of mobile. The next one is about multi-screen, right? So today it's not about your PC, smartphones, right? There's a smart TV, wearables, tablets, right? So each one is now become an identity of its own, and it's important for companies to basically look at this complete ecosystem and serve across different devices. And already, right, so 1/5 of the internet traffic is now already on mobile, right? And it's growing, right? The one which is declining is the one on the desktop and the PCs, while at the same time the mobile is continuously growing. So let's talk about the wow generation, right? And it's the most important, right? Because as a business, as an SME, as an entrepreneur, that's what you really need to understand of how I'm going to make this experience for the Gen Y a wow experience, right? And the important thing to remember here is that these Gen Y is living in a mobile-centric world, right? So they are part of the mobile ecosystem. If you need to reach them, you have to serve them on the mobile device, and that's the key. What are the next opportunities coming, right? So the connected devices, there will be about 50 billion connected devices by 2020, right? So what it means is that our world will also, besides the mobility, there will be a lot of sensors in the world, which will enable us to do many things. And this is where I'm going to talk about what's the future. So if you look at what are the next big things in mobile, right? And I'll take an example of each one of them. So wearables, connected cars, right? Mobile money, mobile advertising, right? So all these are new opportunities which are in front of us for us to basically harness. So let's look at a few of them. Wearables, right? So wearables, just to give you an example, right? So Google Glass, Samsung watch, the iWatch, right? Sensors in your shoes, right? Enabling people to know many aspects of heart rate, sleep rate, etc. Right? So things that people want to know about, they are all connected on these devices, right? So what it does for each one of us is these are all ecosystems that are available, and it basically provides each one of us an opportunity to look at something that can add usefulness to its people through these ecosystems and serve them on these devices. And this is going to be very, very big. The second one is in terms of education. So let's look at what is happening in terms of education, right? So if you look at services like Coursera, right? So Coursera basically enables you to sit on your mobile device or your desktop and basically do any kind of education that you want to do, right? Many of them actually are available free as well, and this is happening, right? So people are using it. Another example is about Udemy, right? So Udemy basically even enables you to learn Microsoft Excel at $99, right? So giving people the opportunity to study at their own time and whenever they want it, right? So it's a total shift. It's not about going to the classroom to study about a subject, right? So each one of us, right, you have areas of interest. You can actually, whenever you decide, you can actually start doing your education now, right? And this basically, again, opens up, right? So people who are in the education field, etc., opens up huge opportunities for us to serve this market and to serve this growing market, right? That's the important aspect. The next one is about healthcare is transforming, right? So I'm sure many of you would have already used it, which is about Fitbit, right? So enabling people to stay fit in terms of knowing, how many steps you have walked, how many calories you have burned, what's your sleep rate patterns, etc. So giving you data sets and information which are important for you to basically enable you to be more healthy. The second one, right, very interesting application called TellSpec, right, which basically tells you in the food what is the kind of food and what's the content in the food available, right? So you can actually decide, right, if the food has got too much fat and carbohydrates, so leave that food, etc. Right? So again, some smart entrepreneur has thought of this opportunity, and he's already put an application which is available for us to consume. Right? The next one, right, is really, really big, is in terms of the Internet of Things. Right? It's the consumerization of the Internet that is happening. So by 2020, right, 7 times the number of human population will be connected through these sensors. Right? And these sensors will be everywhere. Right? Whether it's connected office, connected home, your traffic system, lighting system, right? So huge opportunity for people in the industry to look at whatever business they are doing and see how they can build these synergies to be part of this ecosystem, right? It's just starting, right? So it's not something that has happened, right? So we as we are here today, right? Each one of us has this opportunity to take this forward. The next one company, I'm sure many of you would have heard, Nest, right? So basically provided the consumer with knowing and setting the temperature of your home correctly, right? So today, Google bought this company for about $350 million, right? So huge, right? And the time that they took from the time of inception to the buyout was only about 3-4 years. So in terms of connected cars, now here, I actually would like to highlight an example which is very, very different, right? It's very, very difficult to get into the car industry, right? There is basically in terms of the auto industry, there is kind of a nexus, and they don't actually enable anybody to enter into the system. But there's a guy by the name of Elon Musk, right? His brand is called Tesla, right? He came up with the concept of electric cars, right? Again, challenging the traditional way of automaking. And what did he do, right? So the first thing that he built is basically he built what is called as a supercharger, right? So it's the fastest charging station on the planet, right? So enabling the car to be charged very, very quickly, right? So what he's doing is, so besides the ecosystem, besides the car, he's also building the ecosystem. And let me just show you what he has done and what he's going to do, right? So these are various points in the US where you clearly see where he's started building the charging station, right? And by end of 2015, this is where he's going to be. Right? So it's about an entrepreneur coming and challenging the traditional way of how business is being done and basically growing it. And so this is only a matter of time, right? So 2015, you can easily expect 2016, 17, 18, he's going to be in the UAE as well, right? So that's the kind of opportunity that's arising. Let's look at mobile money, right? Where a mobile operator has actually challenged the bank, right? So M-Pesa, I'm sure many of you heard in Kenya, right? So they basically are controlling approximately 66% of the financial system in Kenya, right? Much, much stronger and much, much better than the banking system. The next one, right? So again, very, very innovative company called Square in the US, right? So challenging Visa and MasterCard in terms of how the payment can be done, right? So things that the SMBs in the US is basically adopting this kind of payment where the consumers can pay through the Square application. Now let's look at smart cities, right? So again, huge opportunity, and there's going to be many, many people who will talk at great lengths. But again, what it's basically pointing out is that the whole city is going to get connected, right, in one form or the other, right? The traffic system is going to be improved, the lighting system is going to be, the energy is going to be saved, etc., right? And there is an example right in front of us, right, which is Masdar City, Abu Dhabi, right? So Masdar City, Abu Dhabi, in a confined area, has set up an example of what a smart city will look like, right? But basically what it does is, across many verticals and across many horizontal applications, it provides an opportunity for us people to become a part of this ecosystem. The next one is about mobile and digital advertising, right? Here again, it's very simple. You can serve digital ads and keep creating changes, right? And being able to serve through the different screens that are available, right? So it's not about, it's relevant, it's contextual, it's real time, right? So you can serve based on context, you can serve based on time, you can serve based on location, right? So it just changes the whole dynamics of how the business is going to be done, right? And why is that important is because today, right, and as I said, digital is the world, right? And digital is now bigger than TV, right? And it's important for each one of us to look at this, right? So to look at the medium of mobile, to look at the medium of digital and make it as a part of our business, right? And because that's what's going to transcend us into the next wave. So next one, right? So it's one of my most interesting examples, right? It's already, the service is now available in UAE, right? Is the Uber service, right? So what did these guys do? They built actually a software application, right? A very simple software application, right? Solving a very simple problem, which is getting the taxi on time, right? So they built this application. So what I'm saying is the need of the hour is actually very simple, right? So you have to be able to define the need in very, very simple terms, right? So they basically connected the need of the taxi to a service which enables the taxi to come on time, right? So app launches, so you launch the application in 10 seconds. It basically tells you what are the taxis available. It also tells you the feedback about the taxi driver, right? It confirms the location. Your credit card payment system is already there, and you basically swipe the card. The car is available to you within 5 minutes, right? So this service is available, right? So why I'm highlighting this example is basically the culmination of whatever I mentioned, right? It's about technology. It's about the mobility, which is this, and it's about the personalization that you're getting, right? And Google bought this company for $500 million, right? In a space of three years, the company got bought by Google for $500 million. So huge. So just in summary, right? So in the old way of business, right, it was about maximizing profit, right? So if you needed to expand, you had to go to global marketplaces, right? You had standardized offerings, right? There was slow delivery of goods. It was all about consumerism, right? And then the customer was basically passive, right? In today's age, right, in today's digital age, right, it's about purposeful brands, right? Brands that are making a difference, right, that are becoming part of your life. And what these brands are doing is they're as omnipresent in their local business as well as in the global business. They're offering personalized offerings to the customers, right? They're able to reach the customer, and they're treating each customer differently. Right? It's based on demand, right? So the customer basically asks for it. Let's take the example of Netflix, right? You can watch any movie, right? Any movie of your choice based on your interest at the time, at the place that you want to buy it, right? And that makes a difference, and that defines the companies of today, right? It's about people's, right? So people want to share, they want to make, they want to create things, right? And those are the applications that have significance. And the last thing, and which is the most important, it's about the empowerment to the people, right? So the people are making the choice, right, about these services. And that basically is going to define the next wave of mobile, right? Thank you very much. Hope all of you have a great day and enjoy yourself.